Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. My story is about a certain village. I want to see if you're ready for this story. Hadithi, you say Hadithinjo. Hadithinjo. I say Ina, you say out. I say Ina. Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Hadithi. Are you ready for a story? Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once upon a time, there was a village. This village of men and women were known as the great builders. This village of men and women, they built beautiful, immaculate houses. This village of men and women were known all over the world for their delicate homes that they built. They built nice homes and they painted them bright colors. Some homes that they built, they painted them white. Some homes that they built, they painted them brown. Some homes that they built, they painted them yellow. Some homes that they built, they painted them black. People came from far and wide to come and marvel at the beauty of such homes. These people were great builders. Their homes were beautiful. People wanted to join and live in those communities, but there was such a long waiting list. Nobody could get into such homes because the homes were beautiful. They had delicate fences made out of dried grass, connecting one house to the next house. Dried grass. What kind of technology was this? Just dried grass. Yes, dried grass. They used dried grass as fences around the homes. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. One day, there was fire. There was fire that came from the house at the corner. It was a big black house. The big black house was on fire. Big black smoke emanated from within the walls of that big black house, as if to rip the walls apart. And when the other neighbors from the white house and the yellow house and the brown house, when they saw the fire, the big smoke coming from the black house, oh, the neighbors, they came out. They came out from their white houses, from their yellow houses, from their brown houses. They came with pails and buckets of water. They were running to save their neighbors. They came with buckets of water and they started pouring. Somebody said, call the fire truck. Call 911. They called the fire department. Somebody said, let's help our neighbors. I think there's some people stuck in that black house. And some neighbors bravely went in there and pulled them from the smoke. And long before you know it, the fire truck came. The fire truck came. And the neighbor said, yes, it's that black house. It's that black house. It's on fire. Go, spray the water in that black house. And the fire department, they came and they hosed down the water, the fire. And by neighbors acting swiftly and bravely and being such heroes, once again, they were able to save the black house because they knew If that black house burns, it was just a matter of time before their yellow house would catch fire, and their brown house would catch fire, and their white house would catch fire. So by acting heroically, bravely, together, they were able to stop the fire in that black house and save the entire neighborhood. Neighbors acting together to save their lives. And that's what they did. They stopped the fire and their homes were saved. Nobody said, when the fire truck came, nobody said, hey, my house matters too. Start by spraying my water on my house. No, they know their houses matter. But at this particular time, what matters is that black house on fire. Yes, my house matters. But at this time, fire department, go to that black house. I am going to stand with that black house. I am going to put out fire in that black house. Because fire in that black house, just a matter of time, will spread into my white house. Fire from that black house will spread into my yellow house. Fire from that black house will spread into my brown house, because the houses are connected. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. Yes, we know all lives matter. But at this particular time, it is the blacks who are afraid for their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing ever comes easy without good men and women joining together to protest. I remember, if history is correct, 1960s, the civil rights, black men and women with Martin Luther King Jr. and other groups of people joined together, and they gave us the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It was a protest. They marched on the streets, and because of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it outlawed any discrimination against race, color, religion, sex, national origin, and it enhanced voting rights. That's why you and me today can go to work wearing our hijabs. Yes, that's why we have the equal employment opportunity. Why? Because black people protested. Because black people ran the streets with Martin Luther King and a few others who joined them, who got tired and said, enough is enough. Joined the Civil Rights Act. And that's why it was outlawed. Discrimination against race, discrimination against color, discrimination against religion, discrimination against national origin, and voting rights was expanded. The following year, the black people were still rioting. 1965, they were still rioting, protesting on the street, joined by other men and women. And they brought us that Immigration Act of 1965. That Immigration Act expanded the visa issuance to Asia and Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a huge influx of Asians coming to America. Huge influx of Africans coming to America. It was just no longer Europeans coming into America. No. And that's why we have lots of people from Saudi Arabia, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Oman, wherever they come from. Because black people protested and visa was expanded. That's why you can have that gas station. That's why you can have that laundromat, because black people protested and visa was expanded for you, so you can work as a doctor in that hospital. So you and I from Philippines can work as a nurse in that hospital. So me, Orego, can work in the healthcare industry in America because black people fought for us. And now that their house is on fire, we can't stand back and say, this is a black and white thing. No! When blacks win, everybody wins. When they fought for us for Immigration Act, that's why I'm here, because black people protested. That's why I'm here, because they protested. And some people say, well, why can't they just do it peacefully? Yes, I wish some things could be done peacefully. Protesting is never easy. It's like the last resort. It's never easy. I remember a story in the Bible about this man, Jesus of Nazareth. Yes, he was walking in Jerusalem. And he walked past the temple and he saw people, money lenders, doing business in the house of God, the house of prayer. Jesus Christ of Nazareth got so upset. He got so angered. He got so fired up. He made a whip and he started to whip the people. Today, CNN would call that assault. The news would break. And Jesus, he went and he turned tables and he turned the chairs and he opened cages and the pigeons, they flew out, the doves, the sheep, he unlocked. If there was a CNN or MS or Fox News, chaos in Jerusalem as this man, Jesus Christ, causes chaos and pandemic in Jerusalem temple. He whipped people, assault, with a whip. Why? Because Jesus was protesting. He didn't like what he saw, and he protested. He said, oh, my house is a house of prayer. You have turned it den of thieves. He got so angered up. This is the Jesus Christ, King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. They asked him, Master, Master, thou good teacher, tell us, which is the greatest commandment of all times? Which commandment is the greatest? Which commandment is the best? And Jesus stood up and he said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength, everything within you. And also love your neighbor as yourself. That is the greatest commandment. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy mind, thy soul, thy strength. But also love thy neighbor as you love yourself. If the black house is on fire, you can't afford to sit down. Come, bring the bucket, bring the pails of water, call 911. Let's go out there and stand with our black brothers and sisters. They protested. We are here. It's not just a black and white thing. It's not just a white thing. It's the right thing to do. Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson said, all men are created equal and they are endowed with unalienable rights such as a life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We can all pursue this life, liberty together. And that's why at this time we say Black Lives Matter. When men and women come out and stand with the black lives, only then and only then shall we see change. Because when they win, we all win. Black Lives Matter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Black Lives Matter.